If I were you, never mind you.
So it has been a while since I've been back on YouTube. I do want to talk about something that's kind of very near and dear to me, and hopefully this story will help someone else out who's dealing with it. It's a struggle, but at the same time I've kind of found my way out of it a little bit. So I think it's important that I discuss it. I think me getting it out, more importantly, just allows me to really fully better understand myself and how I'm able to navigate through it. In 2020, at the end of the year, I had went on a trip, and even before the trip had happened, I had found out that I was diabetic. And the way I navigated finding out that I was diabetic happened in the strangest ways. I was super, super sick, and I didn't understand why. It's more sick in the way of like, why is my body feeling like it's deteriorating every day as I wake up? Like, I would just feel really horrible. Like, I would go into these spouts of just feeling like not normal, and I'm always tired, or I'm always sleepy, and I'm having to pee a lot, or I'm just constantly drinking water or whatever. Didn't understand it until after the trip, when I woke up out of my sleep and I literally felt myself in a position where I was like, I don't think I could live much longer if I don't figure out what's going on with me. I come from New Orleans. I ate a lot of, back then I eat a lot of food that was very different. But it was very heavy, and I didn't have any of those symptoms until I moved out to North Carolina. I guess with COVID kind of happening, and it was just in the mix of it, I had caught COVID earlier that year. It was something that was probably lingering in my system, and I didn't know how to help, like how to control it. I wound up going and finding a doctor. The doctor that I originally was seeing basically really wasn't helpful. He was like sending me stuff, and he was like, here, go home, take this metformin, take this medicine, inject yourself 3 times, woo woo, and none of that happened. Like, was helpful for me. And I would still find myself super, super sick even after the direction that he would tell me to do. So it got so bad, even after seeing him, that I had to admit myself into the hospital. Having to self-admit myself into a hospital because it had got so bad. And I believe, to me, that doctor was inexperienced in how to deal with someone who was diabetic. But at that point, when I went to to the hospital, I was a type 2 diabetic, and my sugar was over 900. And the doctor told me, had I not come anytime sooner, I would have probably died. And I'm thankful for me having to go to the hospital and being admitted. And I was there a couple of days, and this was right through New Year's. If it didn't happen for me, I probably wouldn't be here. The nurses said that they had me in ICU for about 2 days. When I got out of the ICU, I was like, what in the fuck is wrong with me? Because I was starving. And up until that time, the only thing that I could hold down was anything that was liquid. I couldn't eat, and if I would eat, I would pretty much throw it up. But I would drink so much that I would pee a lot more. And that's because my kidneys were not functioning correctly. So, I'm thankful for that. I had 3 IVs. I had one here, one here, one here. And they were trying to stick me again, but I was like, hell no, I won't go. I'm scared. For me, it was just, it was a scary moment, because I had never been hospitalized for anything like that before, but I am thankful because had I not been there, I would not be here. I was in the hospital New Year's Eve through New Year's Day and through the first of the year. I was starting a new job that following Monday at a call center. I was literally fresh out the hospital. I started that first day and was in orientation. Mind you, it was a call center, so I'm working on computers mostly. And my vision started to steep away. And when I tell you that, plus me finding out I was diabetic, me finding out I was diabetic was one of the worst things that happened into my life. But losing my vision in a matter of a couple of hours, the day that I started a new job was one of the things for me that has scared me till this day. I cannot explain how scary of a thought of losing your vision while you're working just out of nowhere. Now, as scary as it was for me to kind of go through that, I just remember thinking, like, how am I going to make it home? At that time had changed, so it was getting darker earlier, and my drive from center that I was working at home was almost an hour, and it was already dark. So I was driving from the center to the nearest Walgreens CVS, and I picked up like reading glasses, and I had to have something because I could not see. It was getting worse and worse by the minute. By the time I was in CVS, the only thing that I was looking for were glasses. I went straight to wherever the glasses were, and as bad as it is to keep reading glasses on all the time, now that I know as far as why I had lost my vision, I was on so many medications and IVs that had medicine in them, helping me get my blood sugar where it needed to be, that when I got off of them in the hospital, everything as far as my levels had to circulate back to where they were. In that process, I wasn't told that I would be losing my vision. I knew shit about losing my vision. Nada. It was just insane to me. So I was just driving around. I was at work with these reading glasses because that's the only way that I was able to see. And they weren't as good, but I was able to see on the road. I was able to see, the computer when I went back to work. Talk about a daring time. That was a daring time. For me, it was a lot. So I was on reading glasses for about 3 weeks, and then slowly but surely, when I went and took a shower one day and I had the glasses off, my vision started to come back rapidly one night. I was so thankful. It had actually wound up clearing up that following morning when I woke back up. So I was very happy about that. That doctor that I first went to, he didn't know much about my situation as far as like how to handle it, because that wasn't his specialty. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't know how to handle that. So I think he wound up transferring me to another doctor that kind of specialized in diabetes. So I think even after, or before that, he was just putting me on so many medications, and I would get like these pins. One of it was like Novolog, it was insulin, and it was a fast acting insulin where I would take between meals, and that was horrible. I would stick myself, and sometimes it wouldn't work, or it'll like pierce me or something, or I injected it incorrectly. Like, it was a lot, and it became a lot for me to kind of deal with. And I kid you not, I was in the worst pain having to stick insulin in me. Like, I could not do it. And I am thankful now that I no longer have to do that, and I just take the medicine like by mouth. But no, like, that in itself, the journey of having to figure out what works best for me and what didn't, really took like a major toll on my body. But I'm thankful that he had wound up transferring me to a physician who, specialized in diabetic treatment. And from then, I've kind of been on like this really, really great journey. My A1C was off like the highest that it could ever get, that physician had ever thought before in her life. And she said, I've never seen anyone in my career had that high of a blood sugar, which for me was very, very scary, because I didn't know how bad it was, and I wasn't treating it. And I think the one thing that scared me was, before I went and seen a new physician, the doctor was like, that didn't do much for me. He was like, you keep doing this, you're gonna die. You keep putting yourself in a situation, you're gonna die. And that scared me. Now, I understand that doctors, have to tell you certain things or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I think for me, that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, that was it. I knew my body was in a position where if I didn't fix it or take care of it right away, that something terrible could happen to me. But I also knew that I wasn't getting much help from him anyway. If he didn't know what he was doing before, he should have took me or transferred me to someone who knew what they was doing when I first had it. Never mind that. I am just very blessed to be where I am. And I feel great about it. Something that I felt like it was gonna hold my life back. If you look at my previous videos, especially videos from 2021, the beginning of the year of that year, you can see the difference in weight that I was. I was probably 20 pounds lighter than I am now. I was very, very, very small. And that's because the treatment that I was on, and even before I was on treatment, I was losing a lot of weight. Even in early 2020, before I was, having symptoms of being diabetic, I was much thicker than that. But I had lost a lot of weight. I've lost probably 20, 30 pounds since being diabetic. But since transferring to a different doctor and finding someone who can help me, diet right, eat right, and take the correct medicine, I am now in a better place. So I'm thankful for that. Anyone who's dealing with diabetes, I think the best thing that you can do to better help yourself is to find a doctor that is willing to work with you and who knows what they're doing and who that's what they specialize in. You're gonna run into doctors that don't know a lot about you and your situation and your diagnosis, and they're gonna just give you the most basic things that a diabetic would have to get anyway, like metformin, Novolog, Lantus. You need a doctor that knows what to do, what to give you right from the start. No, they might not know exactly what you may need in that moment, but they're willing to do the research, or they've been in this business so long that they can tell by your numbers that they get back what's the best thing or the best route for you. And I feel like that is important. It was a lot of trial and error with me, and I had to go through all of that for a year to figure out, no, he just wasn't the best doctor for me, unfortunately. I'm in such a special place because I feel healthy. I've changed a couple things as far as what I eat in my day to day, but I still can enjoy the foods that I love. Again, I'm from New Orleans, so a lot of the food that I eat, you know, especially from home, is things that I enjoy. But I've also learned that health is wealth, and if I don't have it, then I won't have anything. So, in a sense, I'm glad that I had to go through this journey of being diabetic because it taught me a lot, but I'm also just constantly grasping at the fact that it happened to me and no one else on my family side has it. Not my mom's side, my daddy. Who's that? We don't know. But either way it goes, I'm blessed in that sense to know that if someone who becomes pre-diabetic or whatever the case may be, or whatever happens, I'm able to help them and kind of show them like ways that they can be healthy. They can live an extremely long, healthy life with diabetes, or even revert it if they really, really just put in the time and effort to want to be healthy. I'd say to anybody, frequent doctor's visits should be a thing. You should be going 2 times a year if you can, or at least 3 times a year, just to make sure that you're good, because sometimes you never know, and it doesn't have to always be diabetes. It could be hypertension, high blood pressure, whatever the case may be. Especially in the Black community, it is such a thing, or a taboo thing, to go to the doctor when you're feeling sick. It's like, if I go, I don't want to find anything out that might potentially hurt me or hurt me in the long run or whatever. But I feel like it is the best thing to do, because had you not went and you're going through such a tumultuous time and you're feeling sick, you wouldn't know how to fix it. And finding the right doctor is key, but also putting yourself in a position to go to the doctor to make sure that you're good is also key. I expect to do more videos about this, just to let everyone know how to navigate it, but that is my story. That's how I found out that I was diabetic, and that's how I dealt with it. There's a lot of other things that I would get into about it, but I think that for me is probably one of the most important things, is just living with it and being able to control and manage it. For me, it's authentic and it's my real life. I'm blessed enough to still be here and share it, and kind of just go about my life in a different way. You know, I'm young, I'm 28. So, and I know there's a lot of people, there's millions of people in the world that has it or pre-diabetic, and they deal with it and they're able to manage it fully. And I think that is a blessing in itself. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I know this video was super long. Again, thank you for the people that kind of stayed around. Thank you. That is the last of it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Also, I am super fucking comfortable. Know that. So is my dog. After I left the hospital, I was actually just starting a job. Hello, say hey to the folks. Look, she's excited. She's hella excited. Hello, hello. Yeah, she said, listen, I need to figure out what's going on. Why do you have me on the screen? Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Have a great day. Dang, I should have had a video like this. It's perfect. I eat cereal all fucking day. And if it was up to me, I would eat cereal for the rest of my life. I don't think people realize that, like, I'm a cereal lover. Y'all think I'm kidding. What if I started these cereals are, that's just the base, right? Man makeup. I kid you not. I mean,